Hello, everyone. For those that know me, I'm sorry you'll probably hear similar stories as in the past, but hopefully we'll make it fun and interactive. Um, I'll allow now the speakers to introduce themselves. Before that, I just wanted to add that I'm not an engineer, I'm a development economist. So I look at things from numbers and legislative compliance. And for me, this is a very important element considering the ever changing environment that we're currently in. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good afternoon to all of you. Thanks, Ivano. I'm Jagannathan. I'm heading sustainability at Sobha Realty. For those who are not that particular about Sobha, it's a luxury real estate developer with a highly successful backward integrated model wherein all key ecosystems in the industry, such as architectural engineering, construction, facility management, community management, supply chain, are all integrated within Sobha Group. So we have 40,000 plus people, and the very nature of backward integration helps us to drive quality, sustainability, and time across in a very consistent manner. Coming back to my role, I am heading sustainability and I am responsible for driving climate action across the entire group, not specifically the development front, but modular, the furniture, construction, and all the other areas. Um, so, in short, we have over 30 million square feet pursuing various green building certification programs across different global rating systems such as LEED, Green Mark, EDGE, Fitwel, and others. We are also uh, quite ahead in terms of climate reporting with the latest trend of ESG, greenhouse gas, TCFT, and other things. And I'm also responsible for setting the strategies for ESG and ensuring that the verticals are all on their path in terms of time bound emission reductions across their group. That is in short from my side, but I'll leave the rest for the session. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Fadi Alfaris. I'm the CEO of C Environment, and C Environment is part of the C Holding, which is Diamond Developers, where we were known as a Diamond Developers. We are a main developer of sustainable cities. So in 2009, 2010, we started different business. At that time, it was challenging business, talking about sustainability. So at that time, everyone would like to just build, develop, but now we went to different direction at that time, and we went with the sustainability of communities. So mainly the communities, development of communities, and private sector. So usually sustainability linked with the profitability is the sustainable system as or sustainable practices would be profitable from a private sector point of view, or always should be subsidized, should be always supported by the governments. But in fact, we started that, took the challenge in 2010. Then the first city developed and was occupied in 2016. It was the sustainable city here in Dubai, in Al Qudra Road. Then we moved to another sustainable city in Sharjah, and now we have another sustainable city in a joint venture with Aldar. It is in Yas Island. And we worked on we of course evolved and developed ourselves from the sustainable city. Now we talk about another concept, which is net zero city. And maybe you listen to my colleague, engineer Ashraf, the development director of the sustainable city Yeti. This is in Oman. It's another development that we developed. What we are doing as part of the sustainable city, and what my role actually is the sustainable infrastructure. So we provide all the services related to the sustainability practices and all the requirements in terms of the 6 main pillars and DNA of our sustainable city, which is we call it FEW, PMW: food, energy, waste, water, mobility, and products. And when we talk about net zero city, we talk about extreme of the achievements. We talk about 100% of renewables would be contributed to meet the demand of the city. We talk about 100% of water to be recycled, more than 90% of waste and the circular economy to be used. Uh, More than 50% of the food would be generated from the city itself. This is what we call it. This is why we call it always sustainable city, to assure the food security. And of course, taking into consideration the CO2 emissions, the products that we select that would be environmentally friendly, and the mobility, the green mobility as well. So this is a quick introduction about what we're doing as a sustainable city.
Thank you very much. And what I would like to bring to the table is the fact that as of May 30th of this year, a cabinet resolution will take place in the UAE aiming at net zero targets by 2050. There was obviously a hype before COP28, which translated and cascaded down to actual laws. So these will, over time, set targets for the construction, the transport, the manufacturing sector to achieve such targets as identified and published on the cabinet website. Now, having said that, what are the bottlenecks to moving towards sustainability in the built environment?
Thanks, Ivano. That's the most relevant question and the most pertinent one in the current context. You're right. In the year 2023, there was a lot of action in terms of committing to net zero in the run-up to COP28. So we as Sobha Realty also participated in supporting UAE in its net zero by 2050 strategic initiative. As part of signing or undertaking the pledge with the government, we were supposed to have a comprehensive greenhouse gas assessment to know what exactly is the impact of carbon or carbon impact of our operations. That moves to scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3. For people who are familiar with the industry, they know the breakdown. And as a part of our pledge, we are also supposed to uh, 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 report the emissions to Ministry of Climate Change and Environment and engage with the supply chain and keep them updated on various improvements that are taking place as a construction sector. So that part was fine. The next is real action. So we did calculate the comprehensive baseline assessment of where Sobha Realty's emissions are across the verticals, not the development. As I said, the entire backward model of construction, furniture, modular, pods, and everything put together. So when it comes to real actions on the ground, certainly there are certain areas that are under our control in terms of efficient design, in terms of deploying renewable energy, in terms of reducing the diesel quantum, in terms of using recycled materials in our operations, using waste management, kitchen food waste, compost, all that together, it's fine. When you say the real bottlenecks, then my discussion would move to scope 3, where there's materials. So we did an estimate. We do monthly tracking of embodied carbon of our operations. So on a rough, it comes to about 50,000 tons per month. On a ballpark figure, it varies based on the extent of activities. So when we have to divide the entire emissions to those that are of maximum contributors, we end up with concrete, cement, steel, glazing, tiles, insulation, all put together in terms of in the order, they are roughly around 95%. Now, if we have to have net zero, how to decarbonize this to bring it to probably 25,000, 20,000, 10,000? So where do we decarbonize? How do we decarbonize? Let's take cement. We know it's highly carbon intensive by virtue of the industry, the energy required to produce it, and the chemical emissions generated by doing the manufacture. We do not have net zero cement asset. We do not have clinker-free cement asset. We have started coming across zero carbon steel, but it is not internalized well into the market. And so is the case with all the materials that I just mentioned. So that would continue to remain bottlenecks for foreseeable future. Do you want that?
No, I just wanted to add, you're absolutely right. And I think already tracking is a good start.
Perfect.
And again, this is probably what you're also following in terms of reporting. And again, Scope 3 emission has become quite a large theme.
Yeah, of course. We cannot jump directly to scope 3 and talk about scope 3 until we finish our role in scope 1 and 2. Because scope 3 for you is scope 1 and 2 for somebody else. So if everyone commit to offset or calculate the scope 1 and 2 and work on the lowest energy efficiency or lowest, emissions of the carbon. So in this case, we will come to the scope 3 will be easier. So maybe Jagan mentioned something about the some heavy industries, which is not easy for sure to go with the cement or steel with the net zero. But at the same time, you can go with the compensation and we can work on the offsetting all these emissions by not it should not be on the shoulder of the contractor or the shoulder of the developer, but it would be directly on the shoulder of the main emitter himself. So if he calculated properly, so accordingly working on the social part in order to offset all the carbon emissions, so I think we will reach to a kind of balance, and we will reach to and we'll jump deeply to go with this net zero emissions. So this is very important point. But this is one thing that if we talk about the emissions, but emissions is not everything. Emissions is at the end the performance and the outcomes. But we need to encourage the sustainability in terms of the practices. So how people could take into their consideration and in their normal life that the sustainability, how the social would be entered to and sustainability would be entered to the social part of the life. This is very important, especially if we link the social part with the economy as well as the environment. So environment is very important, but also the three main dimensions of the sustainability should be always taken into consideration, which is the social part and economy part.
Thank you for that. And again, there is a QR code if you want to ask question. One question was, how does it impact service charges? Essentially, I have a direct experience considering that I had a friend living in sustainable city while I was living in Arabian ranches. There was an extra digit on my DIWA bill compared to his. And this is simply because of the choice of materials, the choice of equipment utilized. But what I would like to say is also the fact that I come from a hard to abate sector, so aluminium. Aluminium is power intensive, has activities that need to decarbonize. And again, there is complexity. But as we move along, there is regulation that's coming online in Europe that to retain your competitiveness, you need to abide to. Now, this is not yet here, but the opportunity to lead, the opportunities to create the environment are actually available, considering that in the near future there might be labels, there might be ways to track the difference between property A and property B. I'm not sure if there is a plan from your side to look at such opportunities.
Yeah, first, thanks so much for this example that you mentioned. Why we reached to this level of only one digit, and some houses in our community even they have zero at the end of the year, like in as an offsetting. So we of course when we compare the products that we install, the installation, thermal installation, the energy used index in general compared to the business as usual in Dubai, or even if you want to compare it to the ASHRAE standard, we talk about between 75 to 90 kilowatt hour per square meter. So means about 30 dirham per square meter. This is per year. In terms of the generation or consumption, and in addition, we install the solar to cover at least 60% of the needs of the housing or villas. So at the end, the net zero will be always working. And this was like the sustainability was in 2016. Now we talk again about the net zero city, and even last month we launched the sustainable city 2.0. So that's correct. The a lot of challenges again regarding the if we talk about the industries, about the products itself. Still, it's moving on that side, but we need to take into consideration in general that what is the main purpose and the main performance that I want to target and I want to reach in the sustainability and sustainability. For sure, the human satisfactions in the stability, the environment in terms of the energy, food security, and water as well, and take into consideration the economic part, which is at the end we have zero service charges within our community and all our communities, and zero service charges means economic part. Zero service charges. This is not easy to find such communities in Dubai to have zero service charges. So why we have zero service charges? Because we take into consideration the social part, and we link all the social and the contribution by the residents in the city itself to be part of the generation of the solar and of the recycling that we collect from there.
Well, to take forward my co-panelists' views as well, um, although we talked of constraints or impediments to the market, it's not that nothing is being done. As we speak, we have already internalized low carbon cement of various brands available. We are also started on an experimental basis the captured carbon being injected into the cement as a carbon cure technology. We have tried to eliminate or replace 15% of our overall diesel consumption with biodiesel. So with all that, an estimate we have said over 2,500 tons in real terms. But having said that, I'm very strongly of the opinion that we should not have too much focus on net zero, but try to do as much as we can with the available technologies that are commercialized. So, and we should, our first focus should be on demand side management or optimization of the resources. You try to do reduce as much as you can, be the energy usage intensity or embodied carbon per square meter of the built up area, and then try to address that with various technologies. So that should be the philosophy when it comes to the E part.
That's great. Now, if there is any questions from the audience, one just came in. How do you engage with the supply chain? That's a very good question, specifically if you look at SMEs that do not have the capabilities. In our case, we try to have awareness sessions, but we use a tool called shadow pricing. So we introduced comparability of product through shadow pricing of carbon. Um, I do not know if any of you wants to add to supply chain or if there are other questions as well.
No, I would like to share a couple of experience. Like supply chain is very important because, as Fadi said, if you want to address your scope 3 emissions, you should reach out to them so that is one and two of them for them gets eliminated. So you should be having fingers on the pulse of latest technologies going on in the world. So we are in active discussion with certain cement manufacturers who are clinker free. That means their embodied carbon is close to probably 10 to 15% of what is there in the traditional one. So is the case with steel. So we have to address those heavy duty components and continue the engagement so that we are confident that the technology works. And then the engagement doesn't end there. Certain things would definitely require regulatory approvals. So if it is in Dubai, we have to go to Dubai municipality or Dubai chemical lab to make sure that this concrete is approved by them or gets approval before we go on to a sample POC and then internalize into our buildings. Thanks.
Yeah, also to add here, if we talk about again supply chain, so we might now have new technologies and new innovation ideas for the supply chain, but still the big ticket again, the heavy industries for the construction, it's mainly the cement, steel, aluminum. Maybe this would be one of the heaviest tickets within the, if we calculate according to the weight. So in this case, the best solution to go is electrification. So if you reduce your thermal or your direct burning activities in these facilities or plants, so and you depends on the electrification. So at the end, you will reach to the net zero, or you will reach at least to the less carbon emissions by producing such products. And we have very good example in Abu Dhabi, that if we have like nuclear plants, which is clear and clean energy, and if you need to calculate it, you will calculate it zero. So if all the major industries connected or get some credits from the nuclear plant, so this is one of the ideas. In addition, we have here in Dubai, we will reach to 75% in the coming years, and it will come for sure. We will reach to 75% in terms of the infrastructure to be of electricity to be supplied and contributed by the solar and power, which is clean energy at the end.
Fadi, a question for you. They want to know more about how you achieved zero service charge.
Yeah, this is a good question. So we included at the beginning all the buyers and residents or investors. We took into consideration the solar on the public areas. So whatever would be installed on the public areas, they will get benefit directly. Whatever we generate within the city itself, like food, the retail system, the retail and commercial part, all would be part of one fund or one main I would say I would say a main fund, that I would say crown fund. Let's call it like this, from the old residents, that all the incomes coming because of their contribution and participation within the community would be returned to them directly. And one of these important part, which is the biogas plants, the circular economy, they have a proper segregation, and they committed to this kind of segregation, because at the end, this segregation will generate energy, and this energy will be contributed to our common areas and our landlord area. That will reduce our bill on us and reduce the cost on us, and at the end, we will not reflect any charges on them.
Well, thank you very much for all this knowledge being shared. I would like to thank the panelists for their answers. And hopefully, during the coffee break, if you have any other questions, bother them directly.
Thank you.